Today I'm going to make you something really special. It's called Macaroni Au Gratin, which is really just a fancy French style macaroni baked in the oven. I make it a little more special by adding some sliced ham and onions to the mix. This is another recipe inspired by my Auntie Vivi. So the first thing I did is that I have a pot of water boiling on the stove, on low right now because I don't need it to come to a full boil yet, with some salt and some oil. Okay? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this onion and I'm going to toss it into the blender with some parsley, garlic powder, onion powder, and some cream of chicken soup. And we're going to be making a bechamel sauce again today. So for those of you that saw my last video, remember I said that the bechamel sauce was very versatile. This is why. We can use it in so many different things. So just put the onion in there. Okay. We're going to put a can of cream of chicken soup. I'm using Campbell's, but you can use any brand that you like. But isn't Campbell's really the best anyway? Okay. We're also going to use 2 eggs. I'm cracking them into the can of soup. Oh, a double yolk. I swear, they follow me everywhere. 2 double yolks. And I'm cracking it into the can so that I can get whatever leftover soup is in the can. So, like I said, we're going to do some onion powder. We're going to do some garlic powder. And I'm not measuring, but I would say it's probably about 3 tablespoons. I kind of measure it by eye, which I guess is very helpful, so I'll try to estimate the amounts. I probably used about a tablespoon and a half of onion powder. I'm going to do some parsley. This is dried parsley. About 4 tablespoons. My sister Sarah says that I don't measure because I wait for the ancestors to whisper to me to stop, which I think is hilarious. I'm also going to scrape out the rest of the can of soup. Okay. So again, we have our onion, garlic powder, onion powder, parsley, and an egg, and a can of soup. And we're going to mix all this together. Mind the nose. Okay, we're going to make sure everything is nice and mixed together. Scrape the sides. Make sure there's no pockets in the blender. We're going to mix it one more time. Okay. And we're going to end up with a concoction that kind of looks like this. You can see in here, it looks very nice. Smells amazing as well. Okay, and we're just going to put this to the side. Next, I'm going to raise the temperature on my boiling water so we can start getting that into a nice rolling boil. And I'm going to turn on the heat under my saucepan. So I have some very thinly sliced boar's head ham. To me, boar's head is the best, but you use whatever kind you want because as my online mom, Tabitha Brown, would say, that's your business. And then I have some very thinly sliced white onions. I also sometimes use yellow onions for this, Spanish or Vidalia onions they're called. So I'm going to put some oil in my pan and a nice generous amount of oil because we have a lot of stuff that we're going to need to saute. Okay, while that gets nice and hot, I'm also going to get my pureed garlic ready. So I use a lot of different kinds of garlic. So basically what I do is wait for the to be nice and hot because we don't want a lukewarm pan, because then what's going to happen is that when we put our onions and our other ingredients in, it's just going to soak up the oil and be greasy instead of starting to saute. Okay. So we are going to open this puppy up. You can use fresh cloves as well if you want. It's just whatever's easiest or whatever your preference. I'm a mom of twins, so I like to do what's easy. But we also don't want to sacrifice the taste of the food either. Again, it looks like it's ready. You can feel the heat emanating from there. I'm going to add my onions. Okay. You want to hear that sizzling right away. Okay. I'm going to get my trusty wooden spoon here. Once the onions start to cook down, and you can see that they're starting to become a little translucent and we can smell the aroma, we're going to go ahead and add our ham. So you can see that we've added our ham. And we want to make sure that we're moving it around. We don't want anything to be burned. And we want to make sure all the ham is coated so it starts to cook down. So we're going to give this about a minute, and then we're going to add our garlic. Okay. So we've added about 3 cloves of garlic. It smells amazing, you guys. So we're going to let that cook for a couple minutes. We're also going to add some black pepper. Add as much or as little as you like. Okay, and so we're going to let this cook down probably for another 1 to 2 minutes. And then we're going to set that to the side, and we're going to make our bechamel sauce. So we have our completed ham mixture here. You can see the onions are nice and cooked. The spices are in there. Oh, this is going to taste so yummy. Next, we're going to start making our bechamel. So you can see my water's at a rolling boil. I'm going to add my pasta now. I'm using ziti, but you can use many different kinds of pasta. You can use rotini, all kinds of different things. You always want to give your pasta a mix when you add it to the water. As I said before, I have a little bit of kosher salt and some oil in there. We want this to cook al dente because we're also going to be putting this in the oven after. So we don't want our pasta to be too mushy. So Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10
Next.
minutes, starting now.
Thank you, Alexa. So next I have my pot here getting ready for my bechamel. I have the heat on a lower fire because I don't want my butter to burn. So again, a bechamel is going to be butter, flour, and milk. So for a pound of pasta, I use 6 tablespoons of butter, 6 tablespoons of flour, and 2 cups of milk. And when you're making a bechamel, one of the most important things is you want to have all of your ingredients measured out beforehand, and that's called a mise en place. So I put my butter in. It's starting to melt. Okay, we have it again on a low heat. We don't want our butter to start to burn. Next, I'm going to add my flour, and then I'm going to incorporate that all together, and I'm going to sprinkle the flour in slowly so that we don't get any lumps. Okay, our bechamel sauce is starting to thicken up nicely. You can see we're almost to the point where we're ready to add our cheese. So we added about 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese. So now I've mixed everything together. Our bechamel sauce, our concoction from the blender, and our ham mixture. And basically this is ready to add the pasta. Now we want to taste this to see if we need to make any alterations. Add a little salt, add a little pepper. You want to taste it now before you put it in the oven. Take my ready pasta and I'm going to add it to my sauce. I'm going to give this a nice stir. Okay. Now my oven's been preheated to 375. And it's ready. So I'm gonna take my baking dish and I'm gonna spoon my pasta mixture in there. I'm gonna sprinkle the top with some breadcrumbs and dot it with some more butter. And then I'm gonna bake it for 375 for 45 minutes. Now everybody's oven is different. So the first time you make this, I recommend that you put it for a lesser time and check on it. So maybe 35 minutes. You want the top to be a nice golden brown. Hey everybody, we're back. It's been about 45 minutes. Look at our beautiful baked macaroni. All nice and crispy. So I would recommend waiting at least 15 minutes before we cut into this, and then it's ready to eat. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please let me know how yours comes out, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.